to the BDU and thanks to the support given by this administration, she opted to leave she THA work. Nobody did not to tell she to leave. And she was able to focus on the development of that business. And I'm saying when we reopen the tourism sector, when COVID-19 is no more, and when we have all the investments, the marina, the hotels, and the airport, and tourists start to flock to this island of Tobago, I am saying Ashamas will be one of the primary providers of service to both our tourists and locals on this island. And I will give you one more example, because there is a man by the name of Ted Jones, and his company is named JMac Enterprises, and they sell a product called I Support, and it comprises household cleaning supplies, car wash supplies, all kinds of soaps. And I'm saying again, thanks to the business development unit for providing both financial support and technical support and marketing support and promotion support, TED products reach quite in Trinidad. And the last conversation I had with him, he was telling me that he's preparing to take his products across the region. So thanks to this administration, you have a Tobagonian supported by a Tobago PNM, whose product, which is a Tobago product, is now possibly going across the region. And I'm saying it cannot get any better than that, because there are several other examples. And that is the track record of private sector development. And another time, because my time is up, I will tell you more about Watson Duke and his track record of victimization. And I will give you more examples about private sector development on this island. I will tell you about the malls we built, where Tobago businesses ply their trade. And of course, there are other private malls built by Tobagonians, whether it was Warner, Spence, or Tam, where businesses are plying their trade. And of course, this is a difficult period for business generally. But the hard times will not last. The tough times will not last. But tough Tobagonians, led by this tough PNM administration, will do. So of course, the discussion will continue. But I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, examine their track record, examine their horns, examine their statements in the past and their decisions in the past. And I'm saying once you do that, you will understand that there is no other choice for the people of Tobago at this point in time but to support the People's National Movement led by Mrs. Tracy Davidson Celestine. And once you understand that and you make the right choice to protect your future and you take no chances, then all of us will gather somewhere in Market Square or maybe home in your house watching it virtually, and you will sing with one lusty, united voice, "Great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we have prevailed."
PNM people, somebody say Ansel, Ansel. We got this. People of Canaan Bonaccord, we've got this. PNM got this. And Crown Point, we got this. So tonight, I would like to recognize our chairman in his absence, Mr. Stanford Calendar, and we want to ask each and every one to continue to keep him in our prayers as he recovers. In our midst, we also have Brother Keno Mackenzie, grandson of the late, great William the Conqueror Mackenzie, and we want to extend our condolences to Brother Keno at this time, to our General Secretary, party members all. I'm hearing that our venerable supporter, Mr. Edgar Vidal, is also amongst us. So we want to recognize all of you tonight who are here listening, ensuring that you would take the messages that you get from this platform in and around your household and wherever you may go. The next candidate, the next speaker I'm going to bring to the lectern is a young man in whom I admire a lot. He's a man, a patriotic man. He loves Tobago. He loves Tobago so much that in the heart of Scarborough, he gave us one of the most beautiful signs that is going throughout the world. Almost on every Tobago tourist page, you're seeing the I Love Tobago. There's nobody that comes to Tobago and don't visit Scarborough Esplanade just to take out a I Love Tobago sign. And as you drive down and as you enter the city of Canaan, Bonaccord, Crown Point, there's a lovely sign that welcomes you to the city of Canaan, Bonaccord, and that was brought to us by this gentleman again. And as you drive further down, there's something I know that I would have recognized in the United States when I went to school, and it's a lovely lay-by that allows persons to wait for the public transport system in a safe way. And you go further into this beautiful city of Canaan, Bonaccord, Crown Point, you would see a lovely sign just erected. Welcome to Crown Point. And this man has been transforming his transformation after transformation, his roads after roads. Canaan, Bonaccord, Crown Point, I don't think your decision is very easy on December the 6th. Because it's representation after representation, performance after performance. I bring to the stage no other than Clarence. But live good, ease, breathe easy, breathe easy. Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you, DJ. And welcome to the better part of Tobago. Welcome to Bonaccord, Crown Point. At this time, let me recognize my political leader, a woman of class, a woman of integrity, a woman who went out into Costa Rica as an ambassador, and now she's back here to serve the people of Tobago, and also the candidate for Patience Hill, Signal Hill. Put your hands together for a political leader. And let me also recognize a man who says first in everything, but I hope he put God first. And I want to recognize our Chief Secretary, the young, handsome, well, again, some competition now, you know, because I am in the race as well, but I wasn't saying anything. I want to recognize our Chief Secretary and candidate for Boko, Mount Pleasant, and I gave you a sweet part of Canaan, the Honorable Ansel Dennis. Let me also recognize all my colleagues, my candidates, former assemblymen in our presence. Let me also recognize the General Secretary, Mrs. Beckles. Let me also recognize the Vice Chairman of the People's National Movement, somewhere in the corner there, Mr. Dion Isaac, and I want you to give them a lusty round of applause. When you're in Canaan, you just feel light. You just feel good. And we are, when you're in Bonaccord, Crown Point as well, you see the Canaan still in me. And my brother here, I gave you a wonderful piece of Canaan. Make use of it. Brother Mark, make use of it. I want to start off tonight by saying democracy is not just the right to vote, but the right for us to live in dignity. I stand here tonight as a standard bearer of the People's National Movement. I stand here proud, a proud son of the soil of Canaan, Bonaccord, Crown Point. I'm leaving out the Canaan weight. I'm giving it away. Tonight I will officially give it away. I stand here proud as a member among some individuals who were selected through a stringent process, a transparent process, a rigorous process. And those persons were chosen after a long, drawn-out screening. It was not easy being screened. They asked me things I even didn't know. And they asked me things that I forgot. But you have to stand scrutiny to be a part of the People's National Movement. One of the benchmarks of the People's National Movement is morality in public affairs. So you can't be a conman or be exalted in banditry and want to be a candidate for the People's National Movement. No, no, no. There's no space here for you. The PNM is led by a good woman. And I want you all to say, Tracy is a good woman. I ain't hearing no man. You get food there. All the talk hard. I want you all to say after 4, 3, 4, Tracy is a good woman. I ain't satisfied, man. I want one more. Give me one more. Give me one more. Let me bring with voices together, man. Swallow your last spit and bring it up back and lubricate your throat, man. I want you to say tonight, Tracy is a good woman. Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Tracy is stable-minded. Tracy is a team player. Tracy has great leadership skills. Tracy is honest and royal. And in the Bible, we would just say she's a virtuous woman. That is the leader that we have now, our political leader, Tracy Davidson. So I officially welcome you to Bon Accord and Crown Point. And I want to speak a little about Clarence because, you know, a lot of people just saying Clarence, son of Roy Jacob, Clarence, you know, supermarket, Clarence, fishing. Clarence Jacob was brought up by two unique individuals, by Roy Jacob and Natalie Jacob. My parents are in the midst here. I'm the son of those two individuals, and I could say tonight safely, my father is a man of order and respect. He always tell me, manners make it man, woman and child. And he said, early to bed, early to rise, make you healthy, wealthy and wise. And these are the attributes, the things that are instilled in me. I am a father of one beautiful daughter. If you see, you could identify she by the nose, you know. You can't, your Jacob nose and a Jacob head. You can't get into Tobago so easy, you know. And I name her Clarice. So my father is Clarence, Roy Clarence Jacob. I'm Clarence Roy Jacob. And I have a daughter, so her name is Clarice. I'm a groundsman. I'm a community man. I'm an honest man. I'm a man with dignity. I ain't afraid nobody and their old talk, because talk cheap. I'm going to give you evidence of my leadership in the last 4, because I got plenty things to talk about. You know? Plenty things. And you want to ask the question, why I chose the People's National Movement. The People's National Movement is a party with structure. And there are political parties, you don't know who is the head, from who is the waist, from who is the shoulder. This party has structure, and this party is a party that I am happy to be a part. I ain't ashamed. My father used to say, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. Well, I am not ashamed to be a PNM as well. I want to say tonight, I was given the opportunity in 2001. And I don't want to say I was one of the first persons to receive a scholarship from the People's National Movement, this same administration under the stewardship of Mr. Orville London. I went to Cuba. They tell me I have 1 week to make up my mind. I spoke to my father. He said, boy, there are 4 things that come not back. And he tell me one is the neglected opportunity. So he said, boy, go on, spread your wings. If you don't like it, come back home. And I was able to go to Cuba and enhance my knowledge in physical education and sport. And I don't know if the People's National Movement and the administration had a plan for me. Because they sent me as a representative from Tobago to go to Cuba. And 20 years after, not 20 years, you could say, 20 years after, I am here representing the people of Bon Accord and Crown Point. So maybe it was a plan. And I want to tell you, when I went to Cuba, I had a lot of experiences. And I want to say to the political leader and the people of Bon Accord and Crown Point, and by extension, you have a man of class. Because when I went to Cuba, it's como estas? Como estas, como anda? And I'm studying, boy, what are these people really saying? But today, you have a man who could speak Spanish fluently. I want to say tonight to the People's National Movement and all of Tobago, yo puedo hablar español. El mejor miembro para Tobago es el Movimiento Nacional de la Gente. I just say the best party for Tobago is the People's National Movement. So you have a man with skill sets and class. And I want to say tonight, a lot of us are forgetting. The PNM has been doing a lot for Tobago. And I want to send some people by Ferreira's Optical and by the next place up to Mistress or wherever the place to check the eyes. Because like they're not seeing properly. I want to say, when you watch at the Heritage Park, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, I want you all to throw your minds back. When we had bantering and fighting down in Pigeon Point, and we couldn't go in Pigeon Point, and they're telling you can't go in Pigeon Point, and they're blocking the gates and security. There was an individual who lost his life in Pigeon Point. All you remember that? And under this administration, headed by Orville London, he negotiated for us. He had conversations with the owners, and he purchased the Heritage Park, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, whereby we could enjoy now. Now we're getting weddings, we're getting functions, all they get free Sunday, and that was not done under another administration. This said administration. So we are making things better for people in Tobago and by extension visitors. And I talk about the beach facilities, you talk about the community center. How much community centers we have in Tobago? How much football fields we have in Tobago? We have new hospital, we have fire station, we have a lot of things going on. And I want to say something tonight. Don't be fooled by persons who come with all kind of old talk and dotish talk. We have the opportunity now, and we will deal with it. And I want to say to the people in Crumston Bay, Crumston down behind by the airport there, I want to thank you all for accommodating us. I want to thank those who moved and gave way for development for Tobago. I want to thank you all for making us proud as Tobagonians, because the development of the airport will not just benefit me and you, it will benefit your children, children, children to come. And for those who haven't moved yet and who is at the negotiation table, I stand with you all. I will come to you all and have conversations, because I know it's difficult when you have your historic items and your history in a place where you grow. It is really difficult to move. But I know in the near future we will negotiate and bring those decisions to a completion where you all will be benefiting significantly to enhance your standard of living in another location. So I want to thank all those who accommodated the movement in Crumston Bay. I want to say I thank you from the depths of my heart. And I speak on behalf of Tobago. They are in a better place, I would say, a new environment. Persons are able to have their own deeds. They could take a mortgage. They could buy a new vehicle. Some of them have some money in the bank. Some of them based on the family arrangement, they have their own fence and their own gate. And that is development. But I want to speak about the benefits of that airport. Because in the initial stage, I say, I am towing the line. It signifies I was standing with the people, and I'm still standing with the people. All those who made that conscious decision to make room for development. This airport going to benefit us significantly. When you think about the managerial positions, we have bright Tobagonians right here. So don't get tired with the old talk, but managers going to come from abroad. They might have to bring a few based on the operation, but we have bright individuals right here. And we have to start to educate our children, go to school, the lines of study, so you'll be able to benefit from the employment there. When you think about the taxi drivers, with that influx of flight, influx of people into this place, here will be busy. Taxi drivers would have to call on brother and sister to make ends meet, because the kind of traffic you're going to be having, there will not be enough taxi drivers in the airport. Those 10 taxi drivers you see sometimes, when I come off the plane, I say I'll take a taxi today. I could call my partner or my father, but I patronize with them based on the slowness of the place. So when we have the airport terminal building, you have ramp attendants. You have people who making bene ball. We could make the bene ball and the tambram ball, and you're not cake. That going abroad when they go on a plane, when somebody go through duty free. And somebody maybe in Europe or America might like this bene ball, and they might want to put it in a supermarket, and then there's a chance, there's an avenue for investment for US dollars. I want to say tonight, you have culinary, you have the foods, the bars. The bars going to make people who in the agricultural field, you know how much eggs these hotels would want? Marriott is coming. They kick off the sandals. Dotish, you kick off the sandals. Sandals was a great investment for Tobago. It would have curbed some of the unemployment that we are suffering today. So I want to admonish you all, don't make this Marriott pass us. I travel a lot and I understand what is business, what is generating an income. We want Tobago to be on an upward movement. Our economy must grow through tourism. If we consider ourselves to be a tourist destination, we have to have the infrastructure. So more flights in Tobago is more investment. Agriculture, more cucumbers, more eggs, more lettuce, more peas. And I used to say Bonaccord Crumb Point was the home of peas. It was a form where family used to unite on a Friday night. Because when your mother says, sit down there with your bowl of peas, and you sit down there with a bowl of peas, and I sit down here with my bowl of peas, all that we had to shell the peas, because tomorrow morning is stewed peas and dumpling with a piece of salt beef. And we used to live happy. And these are the things that we have to go back into. Investment into agriculture. And I want to say, my stewardship as area representative was challenging. And I want to say tonight, this area that we are seated here, I did some upgrades to the area. We have I will say the wall of fame, where I identified persons who contributed significantly to the development of Bonaccord and Crumb Point. We also have the upgrade of the Milford Court Plaza, where we have a change of face. We used to have the area smelling rancid. Now you have an area where you could go and refresh yourself. That is the public convenience. I also participated in social programs. The senior citizens reef tour. I started off with 45 senior citizens when I bought my reef boat. That is before I get into politics. And in 1 year, we reached 120. On the third year, I had to rent 9 reef boats. We carried over 200 senior citizens to the Boko Reef. And when they're in that island pool, if you hear them, are 50 years younger, and if you see them, and this happened under my stewardship. I want to speak about the welcome sign. I welcome you all to Canaan Bonaccord Crumb Point. I also have another sign, welcome to Crown Point. And that was done out of pocket. I wanted to see it happen, and I couldn't take the time and the frustration to do it on my own. I want to see the best for my community. And I want to speak to my contribution in housing. I was able to contribute significantly through, or assist significantly through the grant program. And when I came in, we expended about $6 million in grants. And in the next year, it rose to $11 million in grants. And those are for the upgrade and improvement of your living condition in Tobago. And people are saying we ain't doing nothing. 11 million to Tobagonians who getting 25,000 and then say nothing. Who waiting for the next 25,000 and get 50 and then say nothing. All you have to talk and say this administration has contributed significantly to your development. And in 2018, 2019, I expended $8 million again. And in 2020, 2021, it's $10 million in assistance to persons to enhance their lives. I also initiated the outhouse program where persons who used to use in local parlance the latrine, I call it nice name now, the indoor closet, where persons could stay inside. Your grandmother don't have to walk across no board or blocks to reach the outhouse. And we have an eradication program for Tobagonians. And in our manifesto, you could see, and you're hearing it from the horse's mouth now, because our political leaders spoke about land development. We have a bright future with regards to housing in Tobago. A lot of us will get opportunities to own your own property. And this is something that you have to leave the People's National Movement in position so you all would be able to benefit. And we don't want only PNM people to benefit, it's across the board. So when you're coming and talk about PNM people alone benefiting, let me tell you something. A lot of people who play in opposition, they play in opposition. Because when you're in PNM in power, you're in no opposition again. All of us is one. One love, one unity. And they will come, Mr. Jacob, help me. And I will open my arms, loving arms. The only thing I ain't saying, come yourself, come into your loving arms of the PNM. I assist every one of them without fear and favor. And they ain't saying a word. When they're done, the PNM ain't do nothing. The PNM ain't do this. Come on, people. The truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. And I'm moving on. I want to wrap up. I got to wrap up fast. We have a HDIP program, a housing development incentive program, and I want to speak a little bit on it. We invited some local developers to develop their land. So all those who have a 5-acre and you don't know what to do to develop it and be a part of the settlements program, whereby we invite you to come in and give us your plans and your structure, and then we will apply a 25% subsidy. And if your land worth 400,000, so if you have an acre of land, I'm breaking it down for you all. If you have an acre of land and you want to be a part of the program, make sure your land have running water, make sure you have the basic amenities, lights, and roads. And once you have your lots and everything is identified, everything is above board, your land could be sold for 500,000 and less. And if, for say, your land is sold, you want to sell a piece of land for $400,000, the THA will apply a subsidy of 25%. So actually, you will be paying $300,000, and the THA will be subsidizing $100,000 for you all and your development. And that is something significant. I initiated that. I had conversation with the Chief Secretary about it, and he gave me full approval. And we have a roof restoration program. I had a discussion about restoring the roofs in the east of Tobago. And next thing I see the opposition start to fix roof. But I welcome them. They just assisted us. I welcome them. They had to try to do something. And my plans for the future, I want to go into it quickly. My plans, I'm focusing on youth development. The youth are the future. I want to focus on sports and scholarship. I want to focus not only on academic but skill based, because when the standards, when the airport terminal come and the Marriott come, we need masons, we need electricians, we need AC persons, we need people in music, we need bakers, we need chefs. There are opportunities that will embrace us. And talk about agriculture again, we need people to start a plant. We want to block those vehicles that coming in from Trinidad with potato and dasheen from Grenada. We want to get with dasheen from Mason Hall, the blue one, the good one. So we will be able to block and make ourselves good men and women. And let me tell you something. I find too much mango dropping out in Tobago. Too much mango and plum. Let me make red mango, package them, put a nice label, and see if we could get to export them. But I had to close because we're working with time. Fishermen. My father was a fisherman. And fishermen, they are important as well. I want to focus on my fishermen. I will ask for advice with regards to how we can cope with them. We have the facility. I had a conversation with the political leader and the chief secretary about having an area where they could boat their boats, pull up their boats, and have a repair done on their boats. And we're looking at Pigeon Point. We had to look at different areas where persons could pull up their boat. Fishermen, we want to make the space a bit more safe. But I could go on and on and on and on all night. But I want to say, why you should choose Clarence Jacob? The evidence is there. The evidence is in front of your face. And I have a team with me in my presence, headed by the political leader, a team that is honest, a team that would lead Tobago to an upward level. So, on the day, the 6th day of December, early in the morning, wake up, say your prayers, brush your teeth, don't even eat. Go up to the polling station. I have breakfast for you all. Leave home hungry belly on the morning of the 6th and go by Bonaccord School. When they give the paper, block out the rest and make sure you line up with the balize, because we don't want no spoil ballot this time. And you're going to ram down the X on the balize. And on the night of the 6th of December, about 9 p.m., all of us will sing lustily. Great is the people nation. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And it shall prevail. I thank you.
Somebody say PNM. So quickly, let me just recognize in our midst former Deputy Chief Secretary, Miss Cynthia Alfred, with us. So we're going to have entertainment from a woman who needs no introduction, Are We Girl, from right across in Milford Court. Our home girl, a lady who we are all proud of, Adana Roberts.
Check 1, 2. PNM Posse, I want her to make more noise than that. I want her to make more noise for my boy Clarence Jacob, the man for the job, and we're going to re-elect him come December 6th. So I want to see all the flags, I want to see all the hands. We're going to make a rowdy noise for the PNM. One time, let's go. And we want to tell them door chords. When we bring it home, so I want to see something in the air like so, like so, like so, like so. Come on. Give us some more choose. Carnival is for me. Hey, come let me go down the road. I am a lady who ain't come here for no lockdown. So much, just watch me now. Come on, just watch me now. I have no conduct when the music pumping all night long. So much, just watch me now. So what? So if I step on your toes, or throw my drink on your clothes, or if my bump the stress relieving. I like your vibe. I like how you get up for me right now. Yes, come on. Show them. I wait a whole year to get on Marathon Road. Show them how we do it, come on. Show me my problems, cause right now I'm just feeling good. Come on. Show if I step on your toes, or throw me drink on your clothes, or if my bumper exposed, watch me how I whining low. It's our brother, see ya, come on. We're whining on, we're not sure. I wanna see something in the air right now. Everybody sing it up. This is B&M, yeah. Free up yourself that we have a bond. We don't care if the boss man. Listen, so low, come on, Jay, if you told you feelings. All the way in the back, come on, watch me how I walk it. I'll jump. Whining on your man, to say nothing. My bumper. This is the time for this stress relieving. I want you to take it down for me. And I want to hear everybody singing this right now. Repeat after me. I tell you to vote, to vote, to vote. We vote in P&M. Can I hear you sing that for me right now? I'll tell you to. We voting? That's what we're talking about. Come on. Hey. So if I step on your toes, or throw me drink on your clothes, or if my bumper exposed, watch me how I whining low. Let the vibes and good times flow. We whining on rain and show. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it for Donna. P&M people, we're looking good. We are about where the air is rare. You know, I was talking to a young lady recently, and she's a dancer, and she was saying to me, say, the best days she remember in culture, being part of the cultural landscape in Tobago, was when this speaker to come was the Secretary of Community Development and Culture. And she told me, she said she recalled one time they were abroad and they would have gone out to eat for dinner, and without any prompting, this secretary would have paid for the meals of all the persons who were in the contingent. I'm told it was Canada. And it speaks to the compassion of this lady. And you know, you've been hearing it for the entire night. You've been hearing it across Tobago. And that is the side, you know, that we sometimes fail to showcase, that this person, this lady, is indeed a good woman. A woman with a vision to take Tobago to that next level. A woman with a clear plan. A woman with a passion for Tobago. A woman equipped with the experience. She's been tried, she's been tested, and she have been proven. And she is the woman to take the People's National Movement to victory on December 6th. I bring to you to the podium no other than the political leader, the candidate for Signal Hill, Patience Hill, our leader, the woman, Tracy Davidson Celestine.
I cannot wait for election morning. Tell them why.
We don't want no bad vibes in the land. Because I, whether me ready up for the task. Because I, hear them. When I'm ready to pump, when I'm ready to wave, when I'm ready to vote, ready to make we name, all ready to fight hard and save God from uptown to your yard. We don't think we silent. We ready to ride, be enough of the fire, be enough of the energy, and positive.
P&M people, how are we feeling this evening? This side of the energy, this side of the vibe, this side of the young people, this side of the experience. Let me hear you say it for the P&M.
P&M.
A pleasant good evening to each and everyone. Permit me to recognize in our midst Executive of the Tobago Council of the PNM. I see in front of me General Secretary Yolanda Beckles, and of course, her husband, former Assemblyman Handel Beckles. Let me also take the opportunity to recognize Vice Chairman of the Tobago Council of the PNM, Dion Isaac, who is also here with us. I want to recognize Chief Secretary Ansel Dennis and co-candidate for this electoral district. Let me also recognize all of our candidates on the head table, Downey, Marcel, and of course your boy and the prospective candidate for this electoral district, Bonaccord, Francois, Clarence Jacob.
PNM.
And of course, all of the listeners, wherever you are, whether it be on Channel 5, on the World Wide Web, Facebook, wherever you are, I recognize you as well. And of course, all of our former members of the Assembly who have come from far and near to give support to this election, I recognize you. And of course, my spouse, Wesley Celestine, my #1 supporter. And so to all the people of Tobago, we are red and ready. This platform is about providing you with the correct information. This platform is about providing you with the truth. This platform is about taking you through all of the respective issues that are in front of us. And of course, ensuring that you have the information that will equip you to make the correct decision come December 6, 2021. And if you were to listen attentively, you would recognize that the correct information comes from the platform of the People's National Movement and none other. And so this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that I too endorse your prospective candidate, Mr. Clarence Jacob, a man who digs deep into his pocket to ensure that his people are well represented. I would sit and I would listen to Clarence and the clarity of his vision, and I can only reckon that Clarence, as young as he is a visionary and one who understands what it takes to help to develop Tobago, and more so this electoral district. And so tonight I endorse him, and I know that he will continue to provide leadership in this electoral district and also in the Tobago PNM. Ladies and gentlemen, where are we tonight? You have heard from your candidate. You have heard from some of our speakers. You have heard from the Chief Secretary in terms of some of the achievements of the People's National Movement. And you would hear from me in terms of where we are taking the PNM and, of course, the people of Tobago. And I just want to indicate that in this election we have to make comparisons, because this election is about choosing the best vehicle. It is about choosing the best organization with the best people that will go forth to govern the Tobago House of Assembly. And so if you have to choose, it means that you have to listen. It means that you have to compare. And when you make the comparison, then you will choose candidates, and most importantly, you will choose the party that could take you forward. And I want to provide you with some information this evening. And I have been looking and I have been doing my assessment, ladies and gentlemen, and I have reasoned that the PDP has several priorities which they would have communicated to you time and time again. And I do hope that all of you were listening and following and paying attention. And if you were not listening or paying any attention, I am here to remind you. And all of us around this table are here to remind you, because these issues and these expressions articulated by the PDP must not go unnoticed. And the first has to do with the first order of priority for the PDP if they were to take office come the night of December 6, 2021. And we have said it, Crapo will in fact smoke all of our pipes if it is that the PDP was to take the reins of the office. And so to my mind, and I'm sure to all of us in Tobago, it is commendable that Farley wants to be the Chief Secretary of Tobago and the Tobago House of Assembly. I am sure in the minds of all of us in Tobago, it is commendable that Watson Duke wants to become the Prime Minister. But it ought not to be at the expense of the people of Tobago. And why do I say this? Because after over 15 years and counting, and after over 2,000 consultations that we have had in Tobago, Watson and Farley have placed their own personal agendas, their own personal priorities ahead of that of the people of Tobago. If you think a lie, go back and check the social media and all the other clippings and you would see their behavior and of course all of their expressions. And because they have put their own personal agendas ahead of that of the people of Tobago, all of us, young, old, not so young, farmers, fishermen, daily paids, all of Tobago have lost out big time. And why do I say this evening? Because all throughout the discussions on the Tobago Autonomy Bill, Chief Secretary Ansel Dennis would tell you, because he sat in some of the meetings, it was about Farley ranting and raving about how to become the Chief Secretary without going through his political leader. His own personal motivation, his own personal agenda, he put ahead of the Tobago House of Assembly Autonomy Bill. And then for the political leader of the PDP, for him it was about how to become the Prime Minister. And I told you before that all he wants to do is to become Prime Minister of something. But it is becoming very clear that what he wants to do is to become Prime Minister of Tobago. And I will tell you how. So let us go back to the deputy political leader of the PDP. He has said to us in our discussions going forward that he wants to change the manner in which a chief secretary is elected in Tobago. And we have been arguing that the precedence in this country, that the precedence in this island is for the political leaders to become, in the case of Trinidad, the prime ministers. We have seen it in the case of the UNC. When Kamla Prasad Bisesa won the election, she being the political leader became the prime minister. We have seen it in the case of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. When he was the political leader, he won the election and eventually became the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and still is. In the context of Tobago, all political leaders have become chief secretaries. We saw it with Hochoy Charles. We saw it with Kelvin Charles. We saw it with Orville London. But Farley wants to become chief secretary without going through the normal channels. And so when he looked in the Tobago Autonomy Bill and saw that that was not a possibility, he decided, along with his UNC supporters, that he is not supporting the Tobago Autonomy Bill. If you have forgotten, I am going to take the opportunity to remind all of you this evening about PDP's first order of priority. And so let us look at Watson, the political leader of the PDP. You have heard him time and time again says that he wants to become the prime minister. And so he tried in the elections, the general elections, on 2 occasions in Tobago East. And on 2 occasions, he got a song licking from our candidate, Ayanna Webster Roy. But he has not stopped. He is now a candidate in the Tobago House of Assembly elections. And I have seen on Facebook within recent times it's people saying that Watson doesn't want to become Chief Secretary. So if you don't want to become Chief Secretary, what are you doing in a Tobago House of Assembly election? And I could answer that for you this evening. And that is because Watson's priority as the political leader is to ensure that Tobago secedes from Trinidad. And secession is about cutting us off from Trinidad. Those are the priorities of the PDP leadership, ladies and gentlemen, because how else are you going to become the Prime Minister in a Tobago House of Assembly election? The evidence is all around you, and so if I have to read and spell for you, the people of Tobago, to understand what is in front of you, I am going to do that, because I was a teacher too. And I could stand up here and break down the situation so that everybody, whether it be boys on the block, whether it be the fishermen, whether it be those who would be considered fortunate, to understand everything that is happening in this political landscape. And so it is important, ladies and gentlemen, for you to know that you ought to come out on December 6, 2021 to vote and to protect your future. This is what it's all about in this election. Farley on one hand wanting to become Chief Secretary without the support of his political leader, and Watson Duke on the other hand wanting to become Prime Minister by ensuring that his first order of business is to see Tobago secede from Trinidad. And at a meeting before, I told you what that means and how and what would be the consequences for us on this island, ladies and gentlemen, members who are listening out there. And so I want to say to each and every one of you tonight that because we did not have the support from the PDP, I want to say to you that because the PDP hug up the UNC in Trinidad, we have lost out big time as a people. So what did we lose? $1.4 billion on a yearly basis, which would be the equivalent of almost $5.2 billion over the 4-year term that we are going to win. And that money could have been spent to do quite a lot of work in the community and in this electoral district of Bonaccord, Crown Point. Employment, incentives for the business sector, treating with your road infrastructure, ladies and gentlemen, $1.4 billion because of Farley's and Watson not being able to put their own personal agendas behind. We have lost an opportunity in Tobago to borrow. We have lost an opportunity to invest in the kind of way that we want to invest for the people of Tobago. And most importantly, we have lost an opportunity to sit around the table where decisions are made in terms of the international source markets and being in a position to collaborate with those international agencies so that we can at least obtain donor funding. And that is because of Watson and Farley. And so they run and rant and rail all over the place and they tell you don't support the PNM because change has to come. But ladies and gentlemen, if we were to vote them, of course we are going to get change. And change that will slap each and every one of us in our face. And I know that it will be a change that all of us will not be able to live with going forward. And so you have to ensure that you bring out everyone, your mother, your sister, your daughter, your uncle, your aunts, your nenen, to vote solidly, and only for the party that is stable and has a track record of performance. This is what it is. We ought to make the comparison in this election. And if we were to make the comparison, we would see that the People's National Movement is second to none. This is not about jokes. This is about our future. This is about ensuring that we as a people in Tobago can sleep comfortably at night, ladies and gentlemen, because politics is the vehicle through which quite a lot can happen in terms of your development. We have lost an opportunity to become legislatures. We have lost an opportunity to create laws for this very unique space that we call Tobago. Since I have been in the assembly, we have not been able to create any laws. We have only been about talking about policies and programs and asking each other to support those policies and programs. But if it is that we want laws to open up our beaches, if it is that we want laws to create our own incentives, if it is that we want laws to determine how we treat with the environment, at this point in time, we are not able to make any because of Watson and Farley and, of course, their affiliation and alliance with the UNC in Trinidad. And so when they bust up their mouth, you have to ask them the questions. Because again, we have lost an opportunity to upgrade our administrators within divisions to deputy permanent secretaries. In the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development, it is one of the largest divisions of the Tobago House of Assembly. One of the most challenging divisions of the Tobago House of Assembly. It is the Department of Health. It is the Department of TRHA. It is the Department of Family Development. It is the Department of Wellness. And sometimes I cringe when I see the kind of work that my administrator has to do. And we lost an opportunity to be able to at least appoint two deputy permanent secretaries to a division. And that again, ladies and gentlemen, is because of Watson and Farley. So where are we going with them, people of Tobago? Where are we going with them, people of the PNM? This is an important election, and we can't afford to lose sight of the issues that are in front of us at this time. I ain't come here to tell anybody no lie, because that is not me. And we have lost out big time, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I have been doing my observation and my research. And out of that, I have pulled out priority number 2 of the PDP. And that is and their priority rather is to ensure that they manage on the basis of lies, that they manage on the basis of hate, and most importantly, that they manage on the basis of spite. And you have heard of it from the Chief Secretary and others who have gone before. Go back and you will hear it. No mercy for those with big red flags. Those words didn't come from me. It came from Watson. They are about peddling lies and misinformation. They are about disrespecting our women folk, calling all young girls stink and dirty and all kind of story. No respect for young women. They are about disrespecting the institution that we have grown to respect. And when I look back, I see evidence of it in terms of how they would have treated with the 6-6 deadlock in the assembly chamber. Night after night, they were there sleeping, eating fried chicken in the assembly chamber. Some lie down on table, running up and down the place. And I said to myself, Lord, have mercy. I hope this is not July 27, 1990, brought back in Tobago. That is what you get from the leadership of the PDP. Mismanagement of the PSA, the threat to send home contract workers and possibly daily paid workers as well. The PDP political leader bullying everybody in his part until he met to one of the banks in Trinidad and took out over $4 million and walked through the streets of Port of Spain with it. And I am sure, as night make day, that could very well be the situation with our contingencies fund going forward. And so we have to ask the question, And all the PDP is about in Tobago is about reading and implementing strategies from the UNC's playbook. And so all the kind of nastiness you see taking place in Trinidad, they are about bringing it into this stable and beautiful place called Tobago. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we have to make the comparison, because the People's National Movement offers you stability and the PDP offers you instability. The P offers you predictability, while the PDP offers to you unpredictability. And so I want to tell all of us who are sitting here tonight, and I want to tell all of the people of Tobago, that you ought not to trade the PNM for the PDP, because they are not fit for leadership. And we are seeing the evidence of this right in front of our eyes. And so there is a famous saying that when rabbit jump out a hole and tell you snake they don't inside there, believe rabbit. Because we have seen members of the PSA coming forward to say what is happening within the PSA. And I recall, I think it was Chrislyn Moore, when she tried to organize with the PDP to form an amalgamation, she came forth and she spoke about Watson Duke. And I think I have it noted here, coming from a Newsday article, which says that while I understand that manipulation and misstatements may be the tools of some politicians, and luckily that word is some politicians, it was regrettable to count you in that manner. And there she was referring to Watson Duke. So even she knows. And so when rabbit come and tell you he have snake down in that hole, believe rabbit, ladies and gentlemen. And so we have seen the marches on the streets. We have seen the firings. We have seen how PSA members have been crying out loud for their hard-earned monies. And we have seen how they have been crying out for mismanagement within the PSA. And so, ladies and gentlemen, to my mind, and I am sure it will eventually be to the mind of all Tobagonians, that you really shouldn't leave daylight to take fire stick to look for things in the night. And as I talk about that, my mind goes back to the symbol of the PDP, and that symbol is the Bolife. And that symbol means, or should mean, for the people of Tobago, that if we vote for them, deception is in fact coming. Pay attention to what is before you. And so that is why I tell you tonight that this is a platform of truth. This is a platform of reasoning, and a platform that will provide you with the information so that you can make those decisions going forward. Because I, as a young woman, take my future very seriously. And I take the future of my nieces and nephews and everyone who is closely related to me and all of Tobago very seriously. And that is why I'm here to let you know the truth about who the PDP and their leaders really are. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as I advance in my conversations to you tonight, I know we will ask ourselves the question, so what has the People's National Movement done? And you have heard of it from our speakers before. Brother Clarence Jacob, who spoke to you about all the things that has happened in this electoral district. You have heard from Chief Secretary Dennis in terms of what we have done for agriculture, how we have treated contracted workers. And as the platform rolls along, you would hear how we have been working to advance Tobago's development. And I just want to add for the record that even in the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development, we too have been making strides in terms of ensuring that we build a robust system so that our people can preserve their lives going forward. And I sat behind there as the chief secretary was talking, and I started taking notes in terms of some of the things that we have done. And I just want to say that when I took over in the division as the secretary with responsibilities for health, wellness, and family development, we had 10 ventilators at the time. And as November month steps in, or will step in, we will have a total of 28 ventilators, so that if persons have challenges with breathing as a result of the COVID or otherwise, we would be in a position to treat with those persons going forward. I looked at how we would have successfully created dual pathways. Although we are small in terms of numbers and sizes within the TRHA, we were able to redeploy persons, and most importantly, we were able to create employment so that our people can lead meaningful lives. And I looked at how we have treated with the whole use of oxygen. We have oxygen concentrators at the Scarborough General Hospital, and by the end of this month, November 30th, 2021, Tobago will be fully self-sufficient where providing oxygen is concerned, because we are installing one up at the Old Fort and at the Roxborough Hospital as well. And last but by no means least, on the topic of health, we have also provided for those who would need dialysis. When I came in, there were 9 dialysis chairs. We now have 13. 13 chairs with the capacity to serve over 72 persons. But fortunately, those chairs are only serving 53 persons to date. So we have excess capacity at the Scarborough Health Center. And so where do I plan to take Tobago as the political leader and, as they say, the first female chief secretary of Tobago? And that must come with something, ladies and gentlemen. It comes with a young lady who is well experienced, a young lady who is well prepared for this job. As a matter of fact, I don't know of any other chief secretaries before me who would have worked in almost all of the divisions of the THA before taking up such a positions. I know Brother Ansel like to boast of many firsts, but this is one first that he will not be able to boast of. And so if you're talking about experience, you could find it in me, Tracy Davidson Celestine. And of course, that comes with a new vision. And of course, I bring to you, the people of Tobago, exciting times. And this is what it's all about. And so if we had a talk, let we talk. Because we're talking Tobago's people's business. We are talking, I am talking about where I want to take you under the umbrella of the People's National Movement. So let we talk. I'm finishing just now. But I wish to tell you, the people of Tobago, tonight, again, and I want to remind you first and foremost, before I get into other areas, 3,000 jobs we are going to create. 3,000. And we are going to do that in concert with the private sector. Because you have been hearing us talking about, we are going to work to ensure that we have more foreign direct investment in Tobago. And so 3,000 jobs are very attainable over the next 4 years. And the most important thing is that we have started the planning process in collaboration with the central government. 3,000 jobs. So whether it be fishermen, farmers, taxi drivers, people who are well learned, there will be opportunities for you under Tracy Davidson Celestine leadership, under the banner of a P&M administration. We are going to issue 2,000 lots of lands to be distributed to the people of Tobago. And I have said, we're catering for the daily paids. We're catering for the single mothers. We're catering for those who have low income. We're catering for the military in this distribution of lots to the people of Tobago over the next 4 years. I have said to all of you that my intention and my administration intention is to advocate for autonomy, because we recognize the benefits and the importance of having a Tobago autonomy, of having self-determination, because it comes with laws, it comes with authority, it comes with the ability to do quite a lot for you, the people of Tobago. I have said in times before that we are going to establish a division of information and technology. Again, it opens up opportunity for those who are now not employed. It opens up opportunities for us to move into a paperless Tobago House of Assembly. It opens up opportunities where you, the people in this electoral district, don't have to travel to town to transact business with the Tobago House of Assembly. This is what it's all about. I spoke to the issue of single women, and I have said that we will have free daycare services up to 2 children, so that our single and vulnerable mothers who are under pressure can be relieved of those pressures, and so that they could utilize that extra money that will be freed up to them to pursue education, whether it be certificates, whether it be tertiary education, whatever it is. We are here in administration, and we are going to do what we say that we will do. I spoke to you about us creating an investment agency to attract investment to this island, because we know that investment will not just fall out from the sky, and we have to go look for it, especially when you are part of especially when you are a small island economy. It's only 60,000 of us. And so we have to be in a position to go out there and knock on investors' doors and encourage them with incentives to come here to develop, just as we have done with Sandals, and just as we have done with Marriott, and others will come under my leadership and in collaboration with the central government. We're taking Tobago to another level. We are about moving Tobago to renewable energy. And as I said, we are about ensuring that all of the Tobago House of Assembly vehicles in the first instance can begin that process of conversion right away. We are about ensuring that we have initiatives to enhance and to expand the private sector going forward. I spoke to you about scholarships on a yearly basis. We need specialist medical officers. We need animators in Tobago. We need persons who could help us to direct the development of environment on this island. So we need persons in environmental engineering and management. And we spoke about how we will treat with low-income earners by ensuring that they can have low mortgages, and that, of course, would be in collaboration with the different banks. And then I spoke to the whole issue of how we will monetize our culture, and that we continue the process of creating a fashion and a film industry. One of the things you do not recognize is that fashion and film is big business. So we're not just focusing on agriculture or tourism, but we also can be part of the fashion and film industry. And I see Miss Cynthia Alfred smiling, because she has been there working with a number of film producers to recreate Turn of the Tide. And I hope to get a role in that series. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that I see a future that is self-sustaining. I see a Tobago, rather, that is self-sustaining. I see a Tobago that is driven largely by the private sector with support from the Tobago House of Assembly. I see a Tobago that is led by healthy people in a Tobago-friendly environment. And this is where we will be taking the people of Tobago. And so in all of that, in addition to some of the things that I spoke of, I see agro-processing taking center stage at Cove, because we want to be able to set up a plant that can process raw materials at the end of the day. Because whoever the Secretary of Agriculture is, they will have a mandate to ensure that people plant. They will have a mandate to ensure that we have the kind of incentives that will incentivize that sector. And when they start to produce, we will process and we will sell. We will create employment, and we are going to deal once and for all with the issue of food security. I see a Tobago where we can have several airlines lining up at the airport on a daily basis. So we're going to look for flights from Scandinavia, because there was a time when we had flights from Scandinavia. As a matter of fact, I was the secretary in the Division of Tourism and Transportation at that time. Unfortunately, we have the shutdown now. I see a Tobago where we can have flights on a daily basis from North America, just like Barbados, just like St. Lucia. We have to also get to that point. And so the Tobago Tourism Agency will have work to do under the Secretary of Tourism and Transportation. This is not about skin teeth. This is about all of us putting our shoulders to the wheel and getting the work done so that we can create opportunities for the people of Tobago. I see a Tobago where we can push sport tourism and cultural tourism. We have the facilities. We have Dwight York Stadium, largely unutilized. We have Shaw Park Cultural Complex. Pretty soon we are going to have a Bacalet Indoor Sport Complex. We have the weather, and we have well-trained sport administrators here on the island. Clarence is one of them. It's not that I'm saying I'm putting Clarence in sport, mind you. But the point I am making, ladies and gentlemen, in this administration, we will create the environment. We will create the catalyst, and we would ensure that we push these agendas so that people can come to this destination. And we're already doing well with the Dragon Boat Sport Tourism Initiatives. So there are opportunities ahead. And last but by no means least, in terms of some of what we are going to do, we have a new hotel coming, Marriott Hotel. And we have to ensure that the chance of the madman and the madmen on the other side don't cause us to lose out on these opportunities. Because in 2023 or 2024, I can't remember the date, we are going to have an additional 300 hotel rooms in Tobago. And there will be hotel rooms of international standard. And with that opportunity, it means, for those of you who have been to hotels before and have observed how hotels operate, you would recognize how many eggs are needed. You would recognize how many kilos of meat they cook on a daily basis. You would recognize that they need things like watermelon, they need things like shrimp, etc. And we are prepared going forward to incentivize farmers who want to open up poultry, shrimp farms, who want to do watermelon farming. We are going to provide them with some startup capital so that they can be ready and prepared for when that hospital comes. Because we must be in a position to grab on all those opportunities that will be created. Otherwise, others will come in and take that opportunity. And so going forward, we have to also be in a position to train all of those farmers so that they know how to produce those things at international standard, because we're talking about an international hotel with international best practices. And so some of those things like HACCP standards and all those kind of things must be in place and must be enforced. And so when I say that we are taking Tobago to the next level, I mean it, because we have to be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. And so my mantra and our mantra on this side is that Tobago must not be left out of those development opportunities that will come. We are about creating wealth generation. We are about ensuring that our people can lead meaningful lives in a developing Tobago. We are about ensuring that we create that environment, that we create the catalyst so that you can thrive in Tobago. And so with all that I have said, and with all that you will hear on this platform, ladies and gentlemen, if you were to listen to it, if you were to digest it, ladies and gentlemen, you would only make the right decision come December 6, 2021. And that decision is that you would be so moved to get up from your beds 5 o'clock in the morning and make sure you're at the polls for when it opens at 6 a.m. But most importantly, you would ensure that you walk with everybody. Your brother, your sister, your uncle, your neighbor, your nenen. And when you have casted that vote with that finger, ladies and gentlemen, on the night of December 6, 2021, we will gather in Roxborough and we will drive down to Scarborough, or we could gather in Scarborough and drive up to Roxborough, because we will be saying along the way, great is the PNM, great is the PNM. We shall continue to prevail. I thank you and be safe.
Thank you from our political leader, a woman of vision, a woman of class. They could put Farley and Watson together and it's chalk and cheese, no match, no comparison. We in the PNM says, we are rolling with the boss lady, Tracy. Tried, tested, and proven. I'm told that we have some lighter refreshments across the road. So we thank you for coming out. Be safe on the roads. Make sure you get home safely and before the curfew. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And December 6th, we shall and will prevail. I thank you.
No bad vibes in the land.